Chris.
Good evening, everybody. My name is Tanisha.
And welcome to Feeding Our Neighbors Local Free and Discount Food. We're excited to have you here, and I'm going to hand things over now to our presenter, Tanisha. How are you this evening, Tanisha?
I am good. I am really excited to be bringing you all these wonderful, all of this lovely information.
All right. Well, I will go ahead and turn my microphone and camera off and take it away.
All right. So this evening, we will be talking about free and local discount food. So different places where you can find food assistance or resources for getting food for either yourselves or those around you who may be in need. So I am going to go ahead and turn off my camera so that we can dive into our content. Let's get that out the way. So this is part of a partnership that we are doing with the University of South Florida, the Libraries Build Communities Initiative. So it is for resources for individuals and families in need. So this is part of that partnership. You probably have seen a few more of our programs that are part of this partnership. I believe this is the first month we're doing it, and we're really, really excited to be working with the University of South Florida to get these programs up and running. So our resource shout out this evening is going to be used a lot. So this is on this link that I have, which will be provided in the chat shortly, is a huge part of what we'll be discussing, because this link here gives you access to a whole bunch of resources, not just food assistance, but a whole bunch of other helpful resources that you or somebody you know may need. So it covers local, state, national public services. It covers a wide breadth of resources. So keep that link in the back of your head, because we will be visiting it shortly. So before we dive into accessing food assistance and food resources, let's have a brief conversation about food insecurity and what it means. So a broad definition is food insecurity is a household's inability to provide enough food to live an active, healthy life. So that's not only enough like physical food, it also includes food that's not nutritious, or where people may have to skip meals in order to make the resources that they have stretch. So many people who are food insecure, unfortunately, have to rely on skipping meals or cheap junk food. So you probably heard stories in the news about how, there's a lot of fast food restaurants in low income areas. Fast food is pretty inexpensive. It's cheaper to buy 5 cheeseburgers than it is to buy 1 salad at a lot of fast food places. So that is what food insecurity means. It's just the inability to have enough food to properly nourish yourself. So unfortunately, one of the common misconceptions about food insecurity is that it's only completely destitute people that have problems finding food or paying for food or having enough money to get enough to eat. So there are many working families that are food insecure. So there's a lot of people out there that are working, that do have jobs, that are employed, but may not have enough money to be able to properly feed themselves. And this is for a variety of reasons. Many that are employed live paycheck to paycheck. So if a car breaks down, if a power bill is higher than expected, if you surprisingly have to get higher bandwidth of your Wi-Fi because your kids are learning from home and now a spouse is working from home, these are all things that can make a family food insecure. So a lot of times people have to make those hard decisions on whether or not they're going to pay to get their car fixed so they can actually keep going to their job, to keep their job, or putting enough food on the table. So the effects of food insecurity include health complications, stunted growth in children, and difficult household decisions. This is definitely the case, especially when it comes to seniors. A lot of people, especially seniors, have to make decisions regarding healthcare versus food. We all know how expensive healthcare can be, especially if you have a chronic condition where the medication may be very expensive. You're having to decide whether or not to keep filling that prescription and pay for that prescription, or having, or, could I possibly skip a meal for a day, or skip lunch and use that money that I would put towards, lunch to paying for a medication? Unfortunately, that's a decision that a lot of people have to make. It's no question when we talk about, stunted growth in children and health complications, what not having enough to eat. I mean, the unfortunate possibilities are endless. So especially for children, not having enough food to eat really can do a number on their growth and development. This is one of the silver linings. Fortunately, one of the reasons why you see a lot of school systems, including Hillsborough counties, have robust free food programs for their children, because a lot of school systems and a lot of communities understand the importance of children having enough to eat. I know in Hillsborough County schools, they do provide, a lot of schools in the county provide free breakfast for all the kids, and some even provide free, well, depending on the circumstance, you are able to qualify for free lunch. So a lot of communities understand that. And seniors, of course, especially seniors, most are on fixed income. So if there's any unexpected expense, it's not probably, it's not like with some other people, you may be able to, work overtime or work extra hours or get a second job. A lot of seniors only can depend on that fixed, Social Security, retirement. They only can depend on that income. So if there's any type of unexpected expense, any type of unexpected hospitalization or anything, then those hard decisions come into play again. And of course, it's hard to have this conversation without talking about COVID-19. So unfortunately, something a lot of food banks and a lot of government and a lot of community organizations have realized is that COVID-19 has led to a 55% increase in those seeking food assistance. I'm sure I remember back when the pandemic started, I can't believe we've already been at a year, but back when the pandemic started, there was news footage of a 2-mile car line for people waiting at a food bank to get food. So as we all know, and I'm sure, with conversations with our family and friends, a lot of people lost their employment because of the pandemic. This now, put them into they may have been able to comfortably afford their lives, and now they have no income and they need to be able to find these resources. So now that we've had a conversation about food insecurity, let's go ahead and take a look at the resources that are available. So as I mentioned before, the link that I mentioned, which I'm going to highlight here just so you all can see it, is the library's government assistance page. So this page is going to be very helpful for those who are seeking out assistance. And again, we're going to be covering food this evening, but not only for food, but for other resources as well. So let's take a quick look at what's available. So you can see we have the link for unemployment, food assistance, and feeding Tampa Bay. We're going to get back to those, but I just want to take a brief look at the page here. Business help, business workshops. You are also able to get food assistance through the county for pets. I know that a lot of people out there love their pets. Their pets got to eat too. So if you contact the Pet Resources Center, they'll be able to help you with food resources. And senior meals and services. So as I mentioned before, I'm going to take a quick break here. Seniors are definitely one of the populations are most likely to be food insecure. Seniors and children are the two populations that are more likely to be food insecure. So I'm just going to leave it here for a minute while I just have a very brief conversation. The county does provide resources for seniors, for senior meals. We do have meal sites and dining centers around the county. Now, of course, with the pandemic, that's definitely changed how they were able to get those meals to seniors. So I definitely encourage you to take a look at this page if you know anybody who's in need, and see how about getting them access to those meals, because it is something that the county does provide. So let me go back up. And we are going to start with food assistance through Access Florida. So Access Florida is the state's portal for SNAP. So SNAP is the food assistance program. It's what was formerly referred to as food stamps. It works very differently now, but it is a way for families to access food assistance. So let's take a look at the fact sheet. So what this fact sheet here, we're not going to take a look at all of it because it's pretty comprehensive, but what this fact sheet offers is tips and a program description and information about how to what it takes to qualify to get food assistance, and a little some more information on how to apply for it. So if you had any questions about the application process, this sheet here would be able to help you with it. So like, what do you need to qualify? What are the income restrictions? Things like that, and also what you can buy with your food assistance benefits. So normally if somebody applies for food assistance and they get approved, they'll get a what's called an EBT card, and that EBT card loads once a month, and that is your food assistance for the month. So you would use it at a grocery store like you would a credit card or a debit card, and you would use that to purchase your food. So as you can see here, I stopped on this page. There's certain things that you are not able to buy. I know that they've changed the rules a little bit with hot foods because of the pandemic, and they understand that people may need to have pre-prepared food. So that might have changed, although you would have to contact Access Florida to see if that is the case. Let's go ahead and go back. And let's take a look at the web page. So the page that you would go to is myfloridafamilies.com. That link will be dropped in the chat section. So at the end, it'd be good to take a look at the chat section because there's going to be a lot of helpful links there. So at this page, you'll be able to see the contact information for Access Florida. So you can see their phone number, how to access them, applying for assistance, the page directly related to food assistance. As you can see here, Access Florida doesn't only do food assistance, they do other type of assistance, healthcare assistance, temporary cash assistance, a whole bunch of things there. So let's click on food assistance. When you click on food assistance, it'll bring you to the main page about applying for food assistance. So one questions, a lot of people do visit the library to fill out these applications. And one of the #1 questions we get is the income requirement. So what exactly does your income need to be able to apply? And it is a little bit convoluted because they're saying that your income limit needs to be less than or equal to 200% of the federal poverty level. What does that even mean? So let's say that, and I'm not saying that this is the poverty level, I'm just using this as a hypothetical. So let's say that the poverty level was $10,000. 200% of the $10,000 would be $20,000. So that means that your family, that means everybody in the household, so if there's a 2-parent household and 2 kids, so anybody who makes any type of money, that the amount that your household makes has to be less than or equal to $20,000 to qualify for food assistance. So that's just something that's a question that's come up a lot in the library. So that's something that I wanted to clarify because I know that can be a little bit confusing. So there on this page, it offers a lot of helpful information on what you need to apply. I would definitely, if you need to assist anybody or if you need to fill out the application, I would definitely take a look at the requirements before you start the application because I know it can be very lengthy. Another program that I wanted to talk about is the SunCap program. So this is something that I thought was very interesting and very helpful and very useful. So it's the Family Nutrition Program, and it's there to help assist low income, or I wouldn't even say low income, it's wonderful information for all families on how to keep your family healthy and well fed. So Family Nutrition Program, they have a bunch of wonderful information here. So if we take a look at the Eat Healthy, Live Well tab, you'll see here that they have recipes, so a lot of low cost recipes. They have food planning, healthy snacking, just a bunch of wonderful tips and tricks of keeping yourself healthy. And again, even though it's geared towards low income, I found the information here valuable for anybody in the community. It's stuff that anybody could use. Also, if you look at the Improve Community Health tab, you'll see that they have what resources they have available for you. So if you work with the community organization, they offer trainings for your community organization. They also offer consultations and assistance. Like if you're a part of a community organization that needs, that wants to help educate people about, the different food assistance programs or just, living a healthy life, they have that there as well. Just a whole bunch of wonderful resources there. And also at the bottom, they have some other resources on how to stock your pantry for a storm. I know hurricane season, knock on wood, is a few months away, but it's never too late to start, never too early to start planning for that. Just a bunch of really awesome resources to help with keeping yourself healthy. My personal favorite are the low-cost recipes. So now that we've taken a look at the food assistance, let's go back a little bit and let's talk about Feeding Tampa Bay, because they are a very wonderful organization in the Tampa Bay area that is basically functions as a giant food pantry. So they lead a lot of the food pantry efforts in the area. I think they cover about 11 counties, but they cover a whole lot of area in our area. And they offer a lot of food pantries, mobile pantries, mega pantries. They offer a lot. So a little bit about the services. I'm just going to scroll down so you can see what they have available. Their services, unlike the food assistance program, where you have to qualify and you have to have a certain income to be able to qualify, they are open to anyone who needs it. So there's no income questions. There's no questions about how much you make, or you don't really have to fill out anything. If you are in need of food, you can show up to any of these locations and get it. And something I forgot to mention earlier in the food insecure part is another reason why a lot of people are food insecure is because on paper they make too much money to qualify for a lot of the food assistance programs. So even if they aren't able to afford food, maybe they're paying more than 50% of their rent, or their mortgage is going, 50% of their income is going to their mortgage, so they're not able to, fully afford food. They're on paper, they make too much money to qualify for food assistance. So this is where an organization like Feeding Tampa Bay really steps in and helps fill that gap. So they have on their calendar, you can see what pantries they have available, where they're at. So let's take a look at tomorrow. So you can see here where they are doing their food pantry. So you can see they cover a lot of real estate in Florida. So here we go. We got one in Hillsborough County. So they have a mega pantry tomorrow at the Verizon Corporate Center. So I think that based on that address, I think that's somewhere in Town and Country. But you can see there, you could drop at this address from 3:30 to 6 to be able to grab some food. So if you needed any, they're usually available, especially with the pandemic. It's already pre-boxed for you. So they would just, a lot of them are drive-through pantries, although at this point, I'm not quite sure if all of them are drive-through. There may be some that allow walk-up now, but because of the pandemic, a lot of them are pre-packed. So they give you a pre-packed box of food that you're able to take home to your family. And they also put their partner pantries on the calendar as well. So there's some smaller pantries that they put on their calendar. So that is a way for you to access and to get this information to the people that need it. And it's pretty easy to find on their website. They got a big button here that says Find Food, where you're able to find where their pantries are. Something else I wanted to point out, because a lot of questions whenever we do programs we get is, how can I help? So they have a nice button right here where it says how you can help. So Feeding Tampa Bay provides a lot of volunteer opportunities for people. So I believe depending on the what you are doing, children are allowed to volunteer, of course, with an adult, but they do provide a lot of volunteer opportunities if you would like to come and help. So I'm going to scroll down a little bit, and you can see based on their calendar, I know it's grayed out a little bit, all of the volunteer opportunities around their service area where you can come and help assist with getting people the food that they need. So really awesome organization. I have had the privilege of volunteering with them personally, and it was a wonderful experience. The families were very grateful. It was a great learning experience for me, and I personally recommend it. It was a great experience. So if you know people who would like to help, if you are able to help, it's definitely an opportunity that is there for you. And their website has also been dropped in the chat section as well. So let's jump back to our slideshow. And that is the information that we have on getting food assistance for feeding ourselves and our neighbors. So I am going to jump back on camera to take questions. And I just moved my control panel, so let me move it back so I can actually come back on camera. And if you have any questions, please feel free to drop those in the chat.
Yes, actually the question section, but.
Excuse me, sorry.
That's okay.
In the question section, sorry.
No problem. That was great information, Tanisha. Thank you. We do have some questions here. Someone is asking about delivery options. Like if someone doesn't have transportation to get to, say, Feeding Tampa Bay, do you know of any organizations that deliver food to people?
So there are organizations for seniors, definitely. So there's the Meals on Wheels program. That's probably one that's really, really well known. A lot of people know about the Meals on Wheels program. Also, Hillsborough County Aging Services also has a it's smaller, but definitely available program that it also will deliver food. Unfortunately, in the research that I didn't see any organizations that were, delivering food to families. But there are a lot of like way smaller organizations. Like there's a lot of community centers, churches that do offer that. That's where your community connections and your family and your friend connections would really be helpful. A lot of help comes through word of mouth, and it may not necessarily be on a website or be on a message board or anything like that. But for seniors, definitely there are, but there aren't very many for others. Also, a lot of them are still drive-through, but I know that some of them are letting up on the drive-through, and you are able to walk up to get assistance.
All right, thank you. All right, let's see. Another question we have. You mentioned at the top about food insecurity and how nutrition, getting nutritious food is a challenge for a lot of folks. Do any of these organizations, like Feeding Tampa Bay, for instance, do they have standards? Like, do they try to make sure that they're providing, hitting those nutrition standards for their?
Absolutely. So again, from my experience volunteering, I was able to volunteer with them a few times. All of the food that they offered was nutritionally sound food. So you weren't going to find a lot of junk food, a lot of snack food. You weren't going to find it was definitely the household staples. So it was fruits, vegetables, bread, things that were healthy and sound. Also so especially with Feeding Tampa Bay, they partner with the major grocery stores in the area. So what they do is not, and I want to make this very clear, they do not take expired food, because that's also one of those rumors out there that these organizations take bad food, like the food that nobody wants, and gives it to them. But as you probably noticed, when you go to the grocery stores have a lot of food. They have a whole lot of food, and they know that they're not able to sell all of that food before it does go bad. So a lot of times they will partner with organizations like Feeding Tampa Bay that'll come and get their surplus food and make sure that it gets to the people who need it. So it is nutritionally sound food, it is good food, it is definitely nutritious food as well. Like, I have not been to a place and saw like a lot. It was very minimal, very, very, very minimal junk food. Like, this is definitely nutritionally sound food.
Good. Okay, this next question is kind of related to that. Do you know, I guess with Feeding Tampa Bay, what about people with special like dietary needs? Do they make accommodations for that? Do they have special packages for them?
So that would definitely be a question for them. If you do visit their website, they do have an email contact and a phone contact. That is not something that I'm quite sure about. I know that in the before times, pre-pandemic, the way that a lot of their services were set up is that you were able to kind of select what you wanted. So if there was something that you were allergic to, you were able to just, or something that you didn't like, or especially when the kids came through, it's like, I don't want that, and the parents kind of vetoed that. But you were able to select what you wanted. I don't know if that's currently the case because they are pre-boxing, they are pre-packing food because of the pandemic, but I would definitely reach out to them and see if that's something they can accommodate.
Sure, and again, as Tanisha mentioned, all the links to these organizations are in the chat section if you need those again. We have time for more questions. If anybody has any more, feel free to submit them. We'll give you some time. Again, that was a really good presentation, Tanisha. Thank you for sharing a lot of that helpful resources that a lot of people aren't aware of, you know.
Yeah, absolutely. I definitely learned a lot with doing this presentation. So while we are waiting for any last minute questions, contact information as always, phone, email, text, carrier pigeon, you can reach us. Library programs and events, we're always trying to offer some really awesome things for you. We are at the tail end. We have our other libraries build communities programs. We'll be posting those on our YouTube channel. You could find other libraries build communities on our calendar, and all of the links that I talked about this evening are available in the chat. So definitely take a look at those. This is information that we want to be shared with everybody. So share this information far and wide.
Definitely. Well, we don't have any more questions. So with that, I guess it's time to wrap things up. Thank you again, Tanisha. It was wonderful. And thank you everyone who joined us this evening. And again, feel free to contact us if you have any questions. All right. Well, with that, say good night. And we'll see you soon, okay? Have a good evening.
Bye, everyone.